Hey yo, what's poppin' everyone? It's your boy AP and we're back for another banger video. Hey yo guys, last time we checked, we were looking at a couple of indices and how they've been moving for the past couple of weeks. And if we have to go back and retrace our steps, we do get to notice a couple of these movements that have been moving very much towards the downside. So if you're gonna have to look at US30, we first start on the weekly frame. And then one thing that we noticed that we connect all the lows, right? And then we noticed that structure has been moving in a downtrending position, which means that it has been creating lower highs and lower lows. Now, in a way for us to be able to have a look at these lower highs and lower lows is as follows. You get your path pattern, you see we had our first high, then we had a low, and then we had a lower high and a lower low, another lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and a current lower low. And so far, it looks as if structure is wanting to retest, preparing for another push towards the downside. So when it comes to US30, we can say that we are looking for more solid positions, right? So if we have to look at what's been happening so far, is that if you know that structure comes back and retests at all times. So that's exactly what we're seeing right now, where structure is coming at this significant point, looking to retest towards the downside. So we are expecting structure to want to push all the way maybe towards these lower levels right over here. We can expect structure to want to push somewhere down towards these lower levels right over here. But understanding how structure is actually moving right now, then we get to go straight towards a daily frame. Now the daily frame is a little bit more simpler. Every single thing just happens to be a little bit more, accurate. So we're just gonna reload our chart and then we're gonna zoom out about 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that we get to see all of our data, so you can see all of our data in previous market structure. So as you see, it's a confirmation of what it is that we had before. We had a higher high, a low, and then we had our lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low. So that's exactly what structure has been giving for us. And one thing that you do know is that when it comes to trading, type of structures, we always look for a break and a retest. Without a retest, there is no entry for us. So what do we notice here so far? So far, one thing that we have to do is pick out our highest heights, and then we pick out our current lowest low. So let's just do it like this. We pick out our higher high, and then now we pick out our lowest low, and then we pick out our, our sensitive level where structure has made significant movements around this particular level right here. So if we do notice, and then we do get to see that structure did break out only for it to come and hit this level here, where it was halfway at this structure, where it came to retest, at this order here, this order block right over here. So this was a nice decent order block, and we hit the halfway point, and then it just decided to dip towards the downside. But we're not going to dive morely deep into that for now. So now we're just going to be covering the cleanest structures so far, the current market structure, which is over here. So we have this on our daily frame. Then we understand that okay, structure has been moving in an impulse, a correction. Now we're going to expect like some sort of an impulse towards the downside. Generally, that's exactly what it is that we'll be looking at, but in order for us to know exactly what structure is giving us, we have to dive a little bit more deeper towards the downside. Remember guys, it's better for you to get a snipe entry than for you to get no entry at all. So one thing that we do see is that once we've come here, we get to see structure in a little bit more cleaner eyes. So let's remove this one, and then we get to replace this with a nice beautiful block over here, the nice beautiful block over here. Just make sure to cater for as many wicks as possible, right? At all times, cater for as many wicks as possible, right? So what do we notice here when it comes to trading US30? Now, what do we notice? We notice that structure has been pushing towards the downside and has been giving us massive correctional phases. So this is a beautiful correctional phase that's happening currently right over here, you see. So we got that happening there, and then we also have structure moving somewhere like so. Then we also have structure moving somewhere like so, only for it to come and retest at this lower level right there. Remember guys, cater for as many wicks as possible, because wicks will save you a lot of funds. Wicks will save you a lot of money. So one thing that we do get to notice is that structure has been giving us somewhat like a head and shoulder type pattern. You see, like an inverse head and shoulder. So we got our left shoulder here, then we got our head position, and then we have our beautiful right shoulder here, and then we can expect to push towards the upside. So one thing that we do know is that instead of us having to always look for selling positions, now we're also getting a clear perspective of a nice beautiful buyer's indicator happening right over here. So one thing that I would like to do is I'd like to make a little side note somewhere around here. Then I would say an inverse SNH structure. Thank you. Right, I'll say this is a beautiful inverse SNH structure that has been evident here. So now I'm just going to keep adding more as I continue going down the long, right? I'm just going to continue to add more because I want to cover 3 pairs before we continue towards the next video. So we have our structure. Okay, cool. So now let's dive down towards the 1 hour, right? So we've seen structure on the 4 hour. Now we have to look at structure on the 1 hour and see exactly what structure has been giving us on the 1 hour. So here's what we notice, right? So one thing that we can do, we can like clear this, maybe hide it for now because we don't currently need it so far. We don't currently need all of this so far. We get it that structure will want to come to the lowest point, but now we're just trying to clean our charts, make our charts look as beautiful as ever. Right, so we have this here type of movement that has been happening on the thingy. So now I can't see that properly because of there's too many obstructions that are currently going on right over there. But one thing that I do know is that this is a significant level right over here. Somewhat around here has been a significant level with a beautiful fake out. So I can see this is a nice clean fake out that's happening right over here with a beautiful break and the retest. So if we go straight towards this here level frame, one thing that we do notice is that structure has given us a nice clear tweezer bottoms, right? See, these lower levels here are quite equal, so we would say that this is a beautiful tweezer all the way towards the upside. So we have another confirmation, which is a beautiful tweezer. Tweezer bottoms, which give us an indication that structure would want to shoot towards the upside. But one of the things that we do notice, that we notice this type of fake out that happened right over here, where structure came to retest these nice clinical levels right there, which means that structure wanted to come in and retest this beautiful order block before finding positions to switch towards the upside. So let us now indicate what structure is going to be doing for us. Now one thing that I do know is that structure has been moving in a beautiful impulse, a correction. Now one thing that we get to do to see structure a little bit more clearly is that I would like to draw a beautiful trend line happening right over here. I don't like cutting into my trades, so for into my, there we go. So we have our first touch, our second touch, and our third touch. We have our first touch here, second touch here, we have our third touch. Now among our third touch, one thing that we do know is that structure wants to shoot towards the upside. As always, structure always does this for us, guys. Structure wants to shoot towards the upside. So in order for structure to shoot towards the upside, we first have to see how structure is willing to react at this particular level over here. So we have this beautiful level right over here that we have to keep watch of. If structure chooses to break above this level here, then it would be a clear indication that we are taking a position towards the upside. If structure chooses to only come here and retest this level here, the structure only just looks to come and give us a correctional phase right over here and then shoot down, then we'll understand that we are just continuing and we have been creating a new trend like so. So that's exactly what it is that we're looking at when we look at our US30, guys. That's exactly what I'm looking at precisely when I look at my US30, because if I have to take a look at my my nice momentum, one thing, my moving average, one thing that I do see is that we are now trying to cross over, but the only way for us to confirm that this is a beautiful crossover is if we get a nice beautiful retest from here coming in there, and then from then onwards we can start expecting bullish momentum all the way towards the upside. So that's exactly what it is that we have on our US30. Now let's jump straight towards our US100. Now this is our NASDAQ, guys. Now NASDAQ and US30, they seem to be moving quite similarly, but in order for us to be quite sure and accurate in our decisions, is that you're going to have to analyze each according to its own merits. So we're just going to zoom out just like this here so I can see the chart a little bit more cleanly. Alright, so we do notice that this is a significant level for structure, and structure has been moving in a beautiful downtrend. Remember, our downtrend does consist of lower highs, and lower lows, like so. This is our downtrend, guys. Consists of lower highs and lower lows. Remember that always. Take that with you if that's what you want to know. Right, so let's just dive straight into. So we have this significant level over here. Maybe I can indicate that with a beautiful zone, and then I can just delete this guy right over there. So we do see that structure has been moving in such a beautiful formation like so. Now we just need to jump straight towards our daily frame. Now in the daily frame, one thing that we do get to notice is how structure has been moving on overall. Now structure has came from here all the way towards the downside, and if I have to mimic this position right here, I get to see something like so. We get to see something like so, where we have our first touch, second touch, third touch, where we have our first touch, our second touch, and our third touch. Now remember, third touch rule states that structure wants to shoot towards the upside, but in order for us to confirm a push towards the upside is that we're going to have to retain this level right over here. You're going to have to retain this weak rejection that happened right over here, you know. Remember, guys, the best way for you to trade is if you wait. Patience is key. Patience will save you a lot of money than having to lose a lot of money in the process. See, so this is what our NASDAQ has been showing us. We've been looking at this beautiful, beautiful weak rejections that have been happening right over here. And then if we have to zoom in towards the 4-hour, we get to see structure giving us a beautiful, beautiful what inverse head and shoulder structure right over there. So one thing that I would do is I'll pull out my text bar, and then I would say we have an inverse head and shoulder. We have a beautiful inverse head and shoulder right over here, which means the structure is willing to break towards the upside. Structure is willing to break all the way towards the upside to match this level here. Remember that structure always wants to match its previous highs, you know. So you're looking for a beautiful move all the way up there, considering the fact that this level here is our beautiful neckline. So we're going to have to be looking at the neckline as a potential waiver for us to start placing in our beautiful buyer positions all the way towards the upside. Maybe once we come over here, we can start looking for a position like so, have our nice restricted level right over there, you know, take a nice beautiful push all the way towards the upside. That this would be our second entry rather, because this is a beautiful first entry right over here. But in order for us to get to have that as a clear clean entry, let's zoom in, clean the charts a little bit so that we get to see structure morely on what it is that we are currently looking for, you know. So I'm just gonna hide this, and then I'm gonna hide that one, and then this one. Yeah, we can leave this one because it's just gonna clean up structure just as we want. So we're seeing something like this. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump straight towards my hour frame. In my hour, I'm gonna reload and I'm gonna zoom out so I can see all of price structure, all of market data, all of the market data. Right, so we have structure moving like so. One thing that we do realize is that the trend line, you know, if I have to put a trend line right over here, we are currently on our third touch. Now let me make this third touch evident to all of us. We have our first touch here. We have our first touch here. What is this thing doing now? Right, we have our first touch here. We have our second touch here. And then we are currently at our third touch right over here, and third touch has already been giving us a strong beautiful impulse. So you're going to receive this impulse here all the way towards the top side somewhere around here. Right, so this would be our first TP. So structure would be a beautiful buy from here all the way up over there, giving us a beautiful yeah, this will be a beautiful 4%, like a 4% win for us. Just like will be like a 4 times win, like a ratio of 1:4. This is a beautiful 1:4 type trade that I'm definitely willing to take, and it shows beautiful pushes towards the upside. Now one thing that we're going to have to remember is that in order for us to confirm this bullish momentum pushing towards the upside, is that we're going to have to first break out at this particular level. Once we break out at that level, then we are guaranteed a confirmation a structure is waiting to shoot towards the upside. So structure is going to want to push all the way up. You see, once we get that confirmation, they want to push all the way up, giving us a beautiful what 11% type of move. So this is what our NASDAQ is currently looking out for us. So now one thing that we get to do now is maybe jump at our GBPJPY. So if we look at GBPJPY, guys, GBPJPY, it's a beautiful pair. It's a very, very beautiful pair. There's a lot of fluctuations that are happening right over there that confirm our beautiful, beautiful moves. Let's look at GBPJPY right over here. Okay, cool. So first thing we're gonna do is start on the weekly frame. Weekly frame, we just want to understand our overall direction. How is our structure moving? You know, how is our structure moving? And one thing that we do notice is that structure has been moving in pale away type of formation, where we have come here, we have retested this particular level only to give us type of a push, towards the downside. So now we're at a significant level right over here. As we can see, we had a couple of retests at this level. We are currently at our first test, our second test, and then we are currently now at our third test. Our third test is going to give us an indication whether we are going to break up towards the top side or we're going to shoot towards the downside. Now, one of the things that I normally like doing is I like playing along with my trend line, guys. You see, so far we have a couple of weak rejections happening right over here. You see, we have this beautiful, beautiful evening star happening right over here, and we have this hammer that happened right over here, which tells us that structure might want to give us a beautiful double top and then wants to shoot towards the downside. But in order for us to confirm this type of move here, we're going to have to dive a bit more deeper into structure and understand how structure has been moving for us. So one thing that I would do is I would place a nice beautiful trend here as a beautiful guideline for me. And one thing that we do get to notice is that structure has been pushing towards this at all times. Structure has been pushing towards us at all times, creating new higher highs and higher lows. So now in order for us to confirm that structure wants to push upwards, that we're going to have to break at this level here and giving us a new higher high. If we fail to do that in 2 days, then we are showcasedly knowing that structure will want to push towards the downside just to test this level here, and then we can now start looking for potential sellers position. So now if I get to do this, right, currently looking at like a beautiful, beautiful third touch right over there. So I'd like to remove this. For now, let's just remove this for now so we can get a clean market structure happening for us right over there. So now let's just jump straight down. Okay, cool. So what do we have here? Now this is our GBP on the daily frame. Let me delete this so far because we already understand how structure is moving, right? So one thing that we do have is that we have our beautiful, beautiful touches that have been happening right over here. Quite evident, we have our third touch, which is like our triple top type of structure, where we have our first touch here, our second touch here, and our third touch. Now in order for us to confirm a third touch here, we're going to have to wait for a bearish engulfing candle, which means that in the blue candle we're going to have to get a strong red candle that's going to give us a beautiful indication that the blue candle has now become weak and the reds are now taking over, which means that the selling guys are now taking over. Sellers are now taking over the market, So from here, it would be a nice, beautiful, beautiful position that tells us that we will be looking for sellers positions towards the downside. But a confirmation for that is to be waited as we dive a little bit more deeper into our type of structure. Okay, let's just do this. Alright, so let's dive straight into the 4 hour. Daily, what happened now? Right, so we got the daily. Okay, so we have that, right? So we have that in the daily. So what we're waiting for, first of all, is that we are going to be waiting for an engulfing, a bearish engulfing, waiting for a bearish engulfing candle. And one of the things that we do have evident here is that we do have about three touches which are evidence for a triple top. And one thing that we do also have here is that if we get to move this one up here, is that we do have a beautiful evening star that has been happening right over here. You have a beautiful evening star that has been happening. I think we have about 2 evening stars. Now let me show you where the second one is. See, we have our first one right over here, and then we have our second one right over here. So we can say we have about 2 evening stars. Currently waiting for a third bearish. Currently waiting for our third bearish injection towards the downside. So we currently have structure moving like that. Now one thing that I would do is I'll put up a nice beautiful structure like so, and then I will just gladly wait. I'll gladly wait for structure to want to push all the way towards the downside somewhere around there. That's a significant level right over there. Right, so one thing that we do notice is that structure has been moving in a sequence of higher highs and higher lows. Looking at current market data is focusing at this particular level over here. So when we focus at this level here, we do notice that structure has been moving in higher highs and higher lows. So one thing that I would do is, let me just fix this nice and neat for all of us so that we all know exactly what it is that we are looking at. And yeah, let me just hide this one, and then let me hide this one as well. I'm not going to delete them, just hide them. Right, so we're looking at structure like so in these type of formations happening right over here. And one thing that I like to do is I like to play around with my trend lines, guys. Trend lines made me a lot of money, you know. Trend lines made me a lot of money. So one thing that I do notice, the structure is moving in higher highs and higher lows here. Right? See, we have a high, then we have a low, then we have a new high, then we have a new low. So now it's either we break up all the way towards the top side, or we break below all the way shooting towards the downside. So that's exactly what structure has been giving us so far. And if we do zoom in, we have to see like a doji that's kind of forming up right over here, like that type of structure with the massive rejections. I'm just gonna jump straight towards the hourly frame. Now in my 1 hour frame, things tend to look a little bit more interesting now. So what do we see here? We see that structure has been giving us strong resisting levels at this particular position here. Structure has been giving us strong resisting levels. What does that mean for us? Structure broke out only for it to retest here. So now, in order for us to confirm that this is a beautiful retest, we're going to have to first wait for a massive spike. Because one thing that we do see here is that we see this beautiful bearish candle that came to test here, only for it to be recovered by strong bullish candles. Now one thing that this here that we'd like to call this is, like, we'd like to call this the white candles. I don't know why that's called the three white candles. So the three white candles give an indication that structure might be looking for a continuation towards a downside, which is something that I'm also looking towards, a continuation towards a downside. But in order for that to be confirmed for me, is I have that type of structure happening right over here. So if I jump straight towards a 15-minute time frame, I see structure looking at me like so, where we've had a strong resisting level right over here. The structure is giving us a strong resisting level over here and a beautiful impulse, only for it to be engulfed as time goes by, shooting towards a bearish side. So this is what exactly it is that I'm looking at my GBPJPY. So I'm looking for a position that will take me towards the downside, and if we do break at this particular level here, then I will gladly take a strong position all the way towards the upside, all the way towards the break, and looking for new higher highs. So remember, guys, patience is key at all times. Take your time, understand what the market is giving you, and once you see your ideal entry, you just jump and you go for it. Remember, guys, that that just watching trend lines on its own will not necessarily help you, but understand the candlesticks. Once you understand how a candlestick moves, then you understand what exactly it is going to happen next at which particular time. So one thing that I'm currently seeing right now is a beautiful evening star, which happened at a significant area, and I'm currently witnessing a potential, what do you call it, a bearish engulfing candle. So one thing that I would do is I would note that down. See, I have a strong rejection, and I'm gonna say plus I have a bearish engulfing. I'm gonna say a potential bearish engulfing candle. So which tells me that structure might be looking for possible sells. So once I have structure giving me these type of indications, then that for me, I know what I need to do now. All I just need to do is just wait for structure to give me my ideal move. And once I have that, once I have structure break below this particular level here, then I know that I'm looking for my beautiful sells all the way towards the downside, and I'll be comfortable taking a beautiful seller's position from here all the way down towards this particular position right over there. And if things happen to go upwards, then I would be looking for a beautiful bullish momentum that wants to shoot all the way towards the upside. Because one thing that we also have to cater for is this potential head and shoulder type pattern right over here. But the thing is that this head and shoulder isn't yet strongly evident. All we just have to do is just wait it out and see exactly how structure is willing to reciprocate towards this type of move. So yeah, guys, that's exactly how it is that we have it today. And yeah, we'll see you next time. This is your boy at Pee-wee, and we are out. Peace.